Everyone, and happy Sunday. I hope you all had a great weekend and welcome to week 3 of our e-learning and business leadership course. I hope you're settling into the course. This week we'll really hit the ground running. The first 2 weeks of this course are fairly gentle in that I know a lot of us are just sort of getting acquainted with our courses in school, understanding how e-learning works, but also I have students kind of coming in and coming out. So now we're all settled in the course. And we're really going to hit the ground running this week. And this will really give me an opportunity to see where you are at academically and how you're pacing yourself with this course. After this week, I will be sending you mark updates in terms of you'll receive marks back and you'll get some feedback from me. And if there's any issues, this is really when I start to reach out to you individually or if I have to with your families. Again, just to make sure that you're on the right track. Okay, so just a gentle reminder that in this course, you really have free reign throughout the week. You have everything you need for this week here in this one document and in this one video lesson. The video lessons are mandatory to listen to for your success. Think of it as, when you go to regular classrooms in regular school, you've got a 75-minute period 5 times a week, and you listen to your teacher each day. And for this course, all you have to do is listen to this one video once a week. And then you really have the flexibility of completing this work whenever you want to within that week. But everything is due from this week, next Monday at 8 a.m., always the week after. This is just to keep you organized, and it's also to keep me organized, okay? So that's really, really important. This week, we have 2 kind of things that we're going to be working on, but we actually have your very first major project that I'm going to be introducing. So I'm just going to talk to you briefly about assessment and evaluation in this course. By now, you probably have started to recognize that we have a couple different ways that I assess in this course. The first is if you look in Dropbox as an example, we'll just check that out. And you go under assessments. You'll see that I have some assignments listed as assignments. So assignment number 1, journal entry. And then I have some that are listed as activities. So assignments are worth, by the end of the course, about 3 to 4% of your overall mark. Activities and badges are completion marks. So these are necessary for your success in the course because they scaffold your learning and they give you the knowledge and the information that you need to really understand the content to apply it to tests or evaluations like major projects. But for the activities and badges, really, I'm just looking at you doing a little bit of effort to make sure that you complete that work. For your midterms, you'll get an overall mark for all of your activities and badges for completion. So for example, if I have 10 activities that are assigned to you in the first term, then you'll receive a mark out of 10 on your midterm. So if you complete all 10 activities, you'll receive a mark of 10 out of 10 or 100%. If you don't do any of them, you'll get a mark of 0. And we all know how zeros impact our marks. So these are really easy marks. And I really strongly recommend that you complete them and that you put energy into them. Everything is important, of course. But just knowing the difference between the two, I think, is also important. So you know where you place the majority of your effort. Major projects are worth about 7 to 8% in your overall mark by the end of the semester. It's important to note that for your midterm assessment, these are going to be weighted even larger because there are less evaluations. So by the end of the semester, though, tests and projects will be worth around 7 to 8%. So I just wanted to give you that little bit of extra information so that you know how I assess and evaluate in this e-learning classroom space, but also where to put your maximum effort. Okay. So with that being said, this week you've got an assignment and you have a project, and this will be our very first project of the course. Okay. So for Monday, what you've been assigned is a lesson, and this lesson is on business communication. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, I really highly suggest that with any slide decks, any lessons that I share, that you take notes on the content and that you keep a separate Google folder for this course with the notes from Unit 1, because when it comes to your unit test, you'll be really thanking yourself when you do that. Okay, so taking notes on the lesson and going through the business communication process, Within the lesson is also a TED Talk video you are required to watch. And it's a really interesting TED Talk. And as I also explained in a previous video, I highly recommend that you do take notes on any TED Talks or videos that are covered in the content. You kind of treat them like they are lessons because you'll see them again on future tests and evaluations. This week, you only have one participation activity, so we don't have to complete a participation activity anymore every single day for your attendance check. Moving forward, it's just one per week, and that marks you as in attendance for the entire week of the course. So please make sure that you complete that. It's really simple to complete. I always have students who just don't complete it, and then they're marked absent for the entire week, which is really silly. So just make sure you do that, okay? On Tuesday, you've been assigned another journal entry. You're asked to watch another TED Talk, and this one is about the fear of failure. And I think as business students, but as students in general, our education system doesn't teach us to go out into the world and fail with gusto. It teaches us to conform, and it teaches us to feel that we have to be perfect and in order to achieve a certain perfect grade. But who really even does that? How is that even assessed? Is there not bias in that assessment? Of course. And so as a business educator, I really believe, and I really try to talk to my students about how important it is to get comfortable with failure. There's not a single successful business owner or entrepreneur in existence who hasn't failed several times before they've achieved their success. That's how you learn and that's how you grow. But often we're very, very uncomfortable with that. So today's journal entry is going to have you reflecting on that. This has been posted in Dropbox as well. You'll see it here, assignment 2, journal entry number 2. And when you open it up, it looks like this. You've got to watch that TED Talk as well as a video, Will Smith on failure. I know that Will Smith is a bit, scandalous as of late, but the video itself is actually really great. And it's really just having you reflect on your own perspective around failure. So I'm going to ask that you create a Google document and you reflect on the following 3 questions. So what does this quote mean to you? What stood out to you in these videos? And what has been your biggest failure so far? And why do you consider it a failure? And then I want you to create a 1 to 2 minute voiceover or video. This is an opportunity for me to get to meet you. And I just want you to tell me a little bit about whether you're afraid of failure and why. Okay. And this is, again, I'm asking that the videos are only a minute long, 2 minutes max. So you really want to think about how you're effectively communicating your message. Some students have a hard time putting words together in an oral communication scenario. And often when we're in interview situations, you're asked a question and you have to succinctly get across your answer. And we really only, again, learn that by practice. And so in this class, you'll have an opportunity to practice that through videos. The really great thing is it's a very safe way to do it because the only person watching the videos are me. So it's not like a regular classroom. So I really urge you to put your maximum effort into that and really give me your best vocal energy and enthusiasm and give me the opportunity to get to know you as a student. Okay. So that's due next Monday at 8 a.m. as always. Then on Wednesday, we have our first project. And this is actually a really gentle project as well. It's more of a get to know you project. The projects moving forward will be far more complex. So put your best effort into this for sure. And you will be really happy that you did come midterms. So again, projects are worth 7 to 8% of your overall mark. This is due next Monday at 8 a.m. as well, of course. And so the idea behind this project is really just to give you an opportunity to reflect on yourself as a future leader. And again, it gives me an opportunity to get to know you as an individual student as well. Okay. So again, I kind of like this sentence here. As a leader, you must create the best possible brand image of yourself, product, or company. So this is an opportunity for you to put your best face forward in this course, giving me an opportunity to get to know you as a student. And we're going to be using effective communication skills. And that'll be reflected in 2 different aspects. So you'll be completing an infographic. So it will be kind of like a digital print of your personality. And then so kind of like think of it as a marketing strategy. And then your second component will have another video component. Okay. So your first part of the project is the infographic. You're going to be creating an infographic that captures who you are at this point in your life. Please include a photo of yourself that's reflective of who you are at this present moment. You can absolutely, I strongly suggest you use Canva. If you've never used it before, it has awesome free templates that you can use for lots of different school and academic things. But for this, in this case, they actually have infographic templates as well. It just makes the process a lot easier. But really, what you want to do is choose a template and create an infographic that represents you, your personality. So you want to think about, well, what colors represent you? What fonts represent you? Are you a little bit more I don't know, childlike? And are you using more of a childlike font or fun or, outgoing? Or are you a little more professional and sophisticated? You want that to really reflect who you are. And obviously reflecting your personality through colors, formatting, font, space, and words. What's required on the infographic is all listed here. So I'm not going to read and review this. It's there for you. But if you have any questions about what should go on the infographic, just send me an email. The second component is going to have you get out from behind the screen. I'm going to ask that you take 5 real-time photos that represent your life as it is right now. I'd ask that you don't use photos that you've already taken unless a special circumstance. Really, what I want you to do is take pictures that reflect who you are at this exact same time. So the most sort of the things in your life that impact you the most at this particular time. So for example, if you work at McDonald's part-time and you're there and it's adding stress into your life, but also you're enjoying it, then you might take a picture of the outside of McDonald's as you walk in for your next shift. Or if you get up early at sunrise and you go for a run before school, maybe you take a picture of your running shoes on, your sneakers on the sidewalk. It doesn't have to be a picture of you and your face. It's just literally a picture of like you experiencing your life. So students will often take pictures of their desk space at home or maybe their puppy or whatever, something important to you. Okay. And then you're going to compile these photos in a Google document or a slideshow or however you like. And then you have to include an audio expansion. So you're required to expand on these 5 different images. I'd ideally like you to take a video clip, just like what I'm doing here, so I can see you. And also, it's an opportunity for you to practice sort of speaking and using your face as well as your hands and what have you in your communication. But you do have a choice in this case, okay? I recommend the free app or download Screencastify. That's what I'm using right now. And it helps to, it gives you an opportunity to capture your screen, so your slide deck and your pictures at the same time as obviously your video. Okay. So your goal is really to introduce yourself to me. Your presentation should really only be a couple of minutes. I really don't want it to go on for too long. Again, really practice being succinct and getting across that information about who you are. In 2 to 5 minute video or audio clip. Try to be dynamic. Again, remember that I'm the only person here watching you, and this is my first impression of you as a student in an e-learning space. So it is really important that you put your maximum energy and effort. If you're, doing your video and you're like, this is a picture of my desk, that's not selling it. It's not great. Okay. So just again, thinking about that personality, making sure that you're practicing before you do it so that you're not stumbling over your words and trying to think about what you're going to say before you say it. Okay. So you've got 2 submissions. This is also in Dropbox here. Your 2 submissions are going to include your infographic as well as obviously your video, which will include the slide deck and images. Okay. Or however you compile your 5 images. And that is due on Monday as well at 8 a.m. And that's our week. Okay. So you've got 1 lesson, a TED Talk video. Take notes on that. Okay, watch the TED Talk video on fearing failure and respond to the journal entry. The journal entry has a written component and the 1 to 2 minute video or voiceover component reflecting on failure. And then you've got your infographic project. So everything this week is really about the communication process, thinking about how you communicate, how you put your best face forward, introducing yourself to me as a student, and giving me a great first impression. Okay? So if you have any questions about any of that, you know where to find me. Send me an email. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you online.